The shocking news has left fans around the world heartbroken. Kaylee Hottle, the young actress best known for her unforgettable role in Godzilla vs. Kong, has tragically died at just 19 years old, following a devastating car accident. Why could a bright young star with such a promising future be gone so suddenly? What really happened on that tragic day, and why has this story sparked so many emotional reactions online? In today's video, we'll take a closer look, explore Kaylee Hottle's inspiring journey in Hollywood, and examine everything currently known about the heartbreaking incident, early life. But first, let's go back a little to the past to look back at her journey of growing up. Kaylee Hottle was born on the 1st of May 2007 in Atlanta, Georgia, into a family where deafness had been part of their history for generations. On her father's side, 4 consecutive generations of relatives were deaf, making American Sign Language, ASL, not just a means of communication, but an essential part of the family's identity and daily life. Growing up in such an environment gave Kaylee a deep appreciation for deaf culture from an early age and helped shape the confidence and authenticity that audiences would later admire. As a native user of American Sign Language, Kaylee became fluent in ASL as her primary language. Rather than viewing her hearing loss as a limitation, she embraced it as an important part of who she was. Her family encouraged her to pursue her interests without letting barriers define her future, instilling in her a strong sense of determination and self-belief. Those values would later become evident in both her personal life and her work in the entertainment industry. Kaylee later attended the Texas School for the Deaf in Austin, Texas, one of the most respected educational institutions for deaf and hard-of-hearing students in the United States. The school not only provided a supportive academic environment, but also gave her opportunities to develop leadership skills, participate in extracurricular activities, and build lasting friendships within the deaf community. Outside the classroom, Kaylee was actively involved in track and field, representing her school in athletic competitions. She enjoyed staying physically active and demonstrated the same discipline and perseverance on the track that she would later bring to her acting career. Balancing academics, sports, and her growing interest in performing arts, Kaylee showed remarkable maturity for someone so young. Long before stepping onto a Hollywood film set, Kaylee Hottle had already become an inspiring example of resilience and confidence. Her upbringing in a proud deaf family, her education, and her dedication to both athletics and personal growth laid the foundation for the breakthrough that would eventually introduce her to audiences around the world. Career. The confidence Kaylee developed through her family, education, and athletic experiences naturally prepared her for opportunities beyond the classroom. Although few could have predicted it at the time, those early experiences would soon open the door to a career in front of the camera. Kaylee Hottle's journey into the entertainment industry did not begin with a major Hollywood production, but with appearances in commercial campaigns that highlighted both her natural screen presence and her ability to communicate powerfully through American Sign Language. In 2017, when she was just 9 years old, she appeared in a commercial for Convo, a company that provides video relay service, VRS, allowing deaf and hard-of-hearing individuals to communicate with hearing people through professional sign language interpreters. The advertisement showcased not only the practical value of the service, but also Kaylee's confidence, warmth, and expressive personality, qualities that immediately made her stand out. Following that early success, Kaylee continued to participate in several advertising campaigns and public awareness projects focused on promoting accessibility and inclusion for the deaf community. Rather than simply appearing on screen, she became part of a broader effort to increase public understanding of deaf culture and the everyday experiences of people who rely on sign language for communication. One of her most meaningful early projects was 10 Deaf Children, One Powerful Message, a campaign created to amplify the voices of deaf children and encourage greater equality and inclusion. The project emphasized that deaf children deserve the same educational opportunities, access to communication, and respect as anyone else. By sharing their stories through sign language, the participants challenged common misconceptions and demonstrated that deafness should never be viewed as a barrier to achieving success. Although these early appearances did not attract the same level of attention as her later work in film, they played a significant role in shaping Kaylee's career. They allowed her to become comfortable in front of the camera, introduced her to the professional production environment, and helped casting directors recognize her unique talent. More importantly, they established her as a young advocate who represented the deaf community with authenticity, confidence, and pride. Those experiences proved to be an invaluable foundation. Within just a few years, Kaylee Hottle would receive the opportunity that changed her life forever, her breakthrough role in a major Hollywood blockbuster that introduced her to millions of viewers around the world. Kaylee's years of appearing in commercials and advocacy campaigns ultimately led to the opportunity that would transform her life. In 2021, she made her feature film debut in Godzilla vs. Kong, one of the year's biggest Hollywood blockbusters, and a film that introduced her talent to audiences across the globe. The search for the actress who would portray Gia, a deaf orphan with a unique bond to Kong, was far from ordinary. Casting director Sarah Halley Finn, one of Hollywood's most respected casting professionals, was determined to find a deaf actress who could bring genuine authenticity to the role rather than casting a hearing performer. To achieve that goal, she reached out to an extensive network of casting directors, theater organizations, and members of the deaf community across the United States. The breakthrough came when an assistant director who had previously worked on Kong, Skull Island, remembered seeing Kaylee Hottle in a Convo commercial several years earlier. Impressed by her natural charisma and expressive signing, the assistant recommended her to the casting team. After reviewing her audition, the filmmakers quickly recognized that Kaylee possessed the emotional depth, confidence, and authenticity they had been searching for. Despite having no previous feature film experience, she won the role, making Godzilla vs. Kong her first ever motion picture. In the film, Kaylee portrayed Gia, the last surviving member of the Iwi people on Skull Island. As a deaf child, Gia communicates through American Sign Language, and her extraordinary emotional connection with Kong becomes one of the story's most heartfelt elements. Rather than relying solely on dialogue, Kaylee conveyed Gia's thoughts and emotions through facial expressions, body language, and sign language, earning praise from both critics and audiences for delivering a performance that felt sincere, touching, and remarkably mature for a first-time actress. To create a welcoming and collaborative environment on set, Kaylee's co-stars Rebecca Hall and Alexander Skarsgård learned basic American Sign Language so they could communicate with her between takes instead of relying exclusively on interpreters. Their efforts reflected the production's commitment to inclusion and helped build genuine friendships during filming. Rebecca Hall, in particular, has spoken positively about working with Kaylee, describing her as a talented young performer whose confidence and warmth made a lasting impression on everyone involved in the production. The success of Godzilla vs. Kong instantly raised Kaylee's profile in Hollywood. Millions of viewers around the world were introduced not only to a memorable new character, but also to a young actress who represented the deaf community with authenticity and grace. Many praised the film for casting a deaf performer in a deaf role, seeing it as an important step toward more meaningful representation in mainstream cinema. Later that same year, Kaylee expanded her acting resume by making a guest appearance in an episode of the television series Magnum P.I. Although the role was relatively small compared to her blockbuster debut, it demonstrated that her performance in Godzilla vs. Kong had attracted the attention of television producers and casting directors alike. It also suggested that her Hollywood journey was only beginning, with many believing she had the potential to become one of the industry's most promising young deaf actresses. Following the success of Godzilla vs. Kong, Kaylee Hottle quickly became one of the franchise's most beloved young performers. Her heartfelt portrayal of Gia had resonated with audiences around the world, making it clear that the character's story was far from over. When Legendary Pictures began developing the next chapter in the Monsterverse, fans were delighted to learn that Kaylee would return to reprise the role that had launched her acting career. In 2024, Kaylee once again appeared as Gia in Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, reuniting with many of the creative team behind the previous film. By this point, Gia had become a far more significant figure within the Monsterverse. No longer simply a child under the care of Dr. Eileen Andrews, the character played a central emotional role in the story, serving as an important link between humanity and the giant titans. Her unique relationship with Kong continued to provide some of the film's most touching and emotionally grounded moments amid the large-scale action. Kaylee's performance reflected noticeable growth as an actress. Compared with her debut 3 years earlier, she displayed greater emotional range, confidence, and maturity on screen. Through subtle facial expressions, body language, and fluent American Sign Language, She once again brought authenticity to Gia, proving that meaningful storytelling does not always depend on spoken dialogue. Critics and fans alike praised her ability to communicate powerful emotions with remarkable sincerity, and many highlighted her scenes with Kong as some of the film's emotional highlights. The film itself became a major commercial success, grossing hundreds of millions of dollars worldwide and further expanding the popularity of the MonsterVerse franchise. As the audience for the series continued to grow, so too did recognition of Kaylee's contribution. Many viewers appreciated that the filmmakers continued to feature a deaf actress in a prominent role rather than reducing Gia's presence, reinforcing the importance of authentic representation in big-budget Hollywood productions. Kaylee's performance also earned recognition during awards season. She received a nomination for Best Performance by a Younger Performer at the 52nd Saturn Awards, an honor presented by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. Although the nomination placed her alongside several talented young actors, it was widely seen as a significant milestone in her career. For an actress who had entered Hollywood through a television commercial only a few years earlier, being recognized by one of the entertainment industry's most respected genre awards underscored just how far she had come. By the end of 2024, Kaylee Hottle was no longer viewed simply as the young newcomer from Godzilla vs. Kong. She had established herself as a rising actress with genuine talent and had become an inspiring figure for many members of the deaf community, demonstrating that authentic representation and exceptional performances can go hand in hand on the world's biggest cinematic stage. Personal life. Despite achieving international recognition at a remarkably young age, Kaylee Hottle remained known for leading a relatively private and grounded life. Unlike many young actors who regularly shared every aspect of their daily routines on social media, Kaylee preferred to keep the spotlight focused on her work rather than her personal life. Friends and colleagues often described her as cheerful, humble, and approachable, someone who enjoyed ordinary moments just as much as the excitement of being on a film set. Outside of acting, Kaylee devoted much of her time to spending time with family and friends within the deaf community. She was passionate about raising awareness of deaf culture and believed that greater understanding and accessibility could help create a more inclusive society. Although she rarely described herself as an activist, her success in Hollywood naturally made her a role model for many deaf and hard-of-hearing children who saw in her proof that their dreams were possible. Kaylee also enjoyed staying active and participating in community events whenever her schedule allowed. Whether attending school activities, meeting young fans, or taking part in programs that celebrated deaf culture, she consistently demonstrated kindness and enthusiasm. Those who met her frequently remarked on her bright smile, positive attitude, and willingness to communicate with anyone interested in learning about American Sign Language. As her popularity grew following the MonsterVerse films, Kaylee received an outpouring of support from fans around the world. Many admired not only her acting ability, but also the quiet confidence with which she represented the deaf community on one of Hollywood's biggest stages. Parents of deaf children often shared that seeing Kaylee in a major blockbuster inspired their own children to believe that they, too, could pursue careers that had once seemed out of reach. Despite the increasing attention, Kaylee appeared determined to remain focused on her education, personal growth, and future opportunities rather than the pressures of celebrity life. Those close to her believed she possessed both the talent and maturity to build a long and successful career, making her one of the most promising young actresses of her generation. Kaylee's death. With a promising career beginning to take shape and countless opportunities seemingly waiting ahead, few could have imagined that Kaylee Hottle's inspiring journey would be interrupted so suddenly. A heartbreaking report emerged, claiming that the young actress had tragically lost her life in a devastating car accident, news that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and left admirers around the world searching for answers. On July 21st, Page 6 reported that Kaylee Hottle had died suddenly in a car accident in Maryland, USA. The actress passed away at the age of 19, with many dreams still unfulfilled. The heartbreaking news was confirmed by Kaylee's father, Joshua Hodddle, during a 23-minute live broadcast in sign language with American media, Mr. Hodddle announced the sad news via livestream, titled, "I'm having to take a flight I never wanted to take." The late actress's father shared that he was in Texas when he received the devastating news about his daughter. When he received a call from the police, he was informed that Kaylee Hottle had been in a serious accident. A few minutes later, he received another call with even more heartbreaking news. Kaylee's heart had stopped beating en route to the emergency room, and doctors were unable to save her. According to the Frederick County Sheriff's Office, the accident occurred in the early morning of July 21st, U.S. time, in Igemsville, Maryland. The car carrying Kaylee suddenly experienced a serious incident. She was sitting in the passenger seat, while the 19-year-old driver sustained only minor injuries, and another person in the car refused treatment. Investigators said high speed was believed to be one of the causes of the incident, but the accident is still under investigation. Kaylee Hottle's death has left many colleagues and fans heartbroken. Numerous Hollywood artists have posted condolences on social media, including her co-stars from the Godzilla series, as well as many prominent figures in the deaf community. The passing of Kaylee Hottle at the age of 19 has saddened many. On social media, viewers have continuously expressed their grief, sent condolences to the actress's family, and commemorated her with memorable images and moments from the hit series that made Kaylee Hottle famous.